I call her the election detective.
Oh,
Dun dun
okay.
dun. Michelle Schwinnick. How are you doing, Michelle?
Oh, I'm amazing. I live in the land of the demons where they dwell in the desert, Maricopa County, Anarchy, Arizona. It's never a dull moment here,
Yes.
24/7.
But you're still crushing it, and we appreciate it because uh, you may get traction with the public, but you're not getting traction, of course, with the demons themselves. But
Yeah.
you keep moving forward, and
Yeah.
that warrior mentality is, I think, what everybody needs to look up to.
Well, at this point, what choice do I have? Right.
Right.
So I feel that this is what I didn't sign up for this, right? And this is what we talked about last time on the show. I was an election judge. I explained that story, right? I
Hmm.
got yelled
Hmm.
at, almost thrown out, threatened to be terminated. They thought we were supposed to be running election here, guys. Don't worry. You're scouring my social media and then wondering if I'm going on shows to report your chaotic system. And then I came home and I haven't stopped yet. At 9 o'clock at night, I went on two shows. So when I realized nobody else was doing what needed to get done, I just kept going. I kept going. I kept going. Dragged in Leo D'Onofrio, who's in New Jersey doing the investigation with me. This is still ongoing because there's only two of us. We don't have teams. We don't
Right.
have, I don't have millions of dollars of donations to the magical plan. And I don't have a big platform on social media or even on my TV show and on the Rumble on Brighty on TV. So I don't have, hundreds of thousands of followers. So it's a matter of we're just doing as much as we can as we go along because this is what
Hmm.
God said. She'll do this.
So
Anyone can do this. This is what it's saying is the
anyone
people have more
can,
power.
but you would agree that the apathy in the United States is through the roof. So
Ugh,
not everybody does.
not
Um,
even the ones that got paid to do it did it.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And or maybe they get paid more not to do it, but that's a whole.
Yeah. Go down that road, everybody. Go with that
Yeah, yeah.
mentality. Got paid to not do what was
To
supposed to be done. And
ex
I'm going back to 2020. I have a little slide for you guys. I'm not sure if we showed that one before. We're going to show that at the end. So I want to end the discussion about 2020 and what happened here in Arizona
Cool.
and
Okay,
then
so
overall.
let's go back in time a little bit. After you went through as a judge, and then you really became, I consider you an activist in regards
Yeah.
to the exposing of the election fraud. What have you found? And then let's finish that conversation with. I know you just discovered something recently, also.
Oh, it's so good.
So let's talk about what you found to get you to this point.
Well, we've been exposing what happened on November 8th here in Maricopa County. This is 2022 election for 103 days. Okay. The investigation started the moment I got home. And then, I went down to MTech, which is the tabulation center here in Maricopa County. And I say Maricopa just for that sentence. Otherwise, it's Maricopa County. And that's when I went down after submitting a public records request for the precinct ballot reports, which is the audit forms that we do at the end of the night. Your state might have a different name, but you have to have something like this because otherwise, how are you gathering the information to bring it back to HQ,
Hmm.
right? Which is the county, which is the tabulation center, MECTEC. And then I wanted to see the tally receipts, which are the receipts that come out, the tapes that come out of the tabulators throughout at the end of the day. In the beginning of the morning, the morning when you turn them on, at the end of the day, and it has the actual tabulation for the votes, has the protective counters, has the serial numbers, has the signatures, which I found out during my inspector training most recently that I, as the judge, and both judges and the inspector were supposed to sign those. I did not sign those. I was not instructed. That's not part of our training. So that's something that was another law breaking action, right?
Hmm.
So it took 7 months to go down there because I was only allowed to bring one other person, which I had to beg to bring another person. And I had to be careful on who I brought because they had to keep their mouths shut. And they also had to be somebody that I trusted that could go along with me and do this, meaning take the pictures of the tapes. So that was 7 months because they only let us come down once a month for 4 hours at a time. So, because some people are like, Michelle, well, why didn't you release this earlier? I couldn't because I didn't even have all of that finished. That was 7 months. So I went down every single month. And with that being said, then it just kind of evolved from there. But we've been exposing for 103 days what exactly happened during the election that has never been exposed before. Okay. And some of the things happened in 2020 also, and you'll see that. But the fact that you had all these trials, all these candidates in all these court cases, None of this has ever been brought into the court. None of this has ever even been brought out publicly and exposed to the people, which makes you just go, what, why? And all of it is so basic. But we've proven that there's illegal ballots. There's voter check-in fraud, or I don't want to say voter because it's not the voter's problem. It's check-in fraud. There is ballots that were there was elections that happened in multiple centers on Monday through Wednesday, on Wednesdays. And this is what I want people to understand. All of the information that we've gathered are Maricopa County's own official election records, official election returns, their own county documents. This is the EPM, Elections Procedures Manual, statutes, which is the law in Arizona, the county manuals, the Maricopa County Manual, training manual, which we use in order to be trained to be election poll workers. This is testimonials from Carrie Lake's case. This is Goldenrod reports, which that's a fabulous episode. You guys are going to love that. That's episode 270 we did in March. And the Dominion manual, right? So, and documentation from the county's websites. So this is not an opinion, anything that we've created. It's not a spreadsheet that we just put together like you've seen. This is not some video footage of something that never really was what they portrayed it to happen. This is all official records and returns. All of it was public documentation. And there was only 2 record requests. Well, there's a couple of records requests that I had done that resulted in, the audit files, right? The slog files, the infamous slog files. So there's been a couple public records requests that I have done, that I've requested starting back in last April. So a year ago, it started all this, that anybody in the country could have gotten. It takes 30 seconds to fill out a public records request. So all of that information is free. Anyone in the country could get this documentation today to verify that it is the same. And I always like to remind everybody, the cost to acquire. Now keep in mind of all the donations that were raised, all of the court case fees, we're fighting for you, donate here. Here's the cost to acquire. What is that?
Zip, zero, zip,
$0.
Yep.
Okay. So yes, times the time and sweat and tears and blood that Leo and I put into this for those 17 months. I'll never recoup that. But there was no cost to acquire these documents. And many of the candidates had these documents in November and December of 2023 or 2022, prior to the trials that started. Okay, so you'll even see in some of the court cases, like they brought in one document, but didn't comment on it, didn't ask the right questions, which would have exposed everything. Okay, so not only do you have the illegal elections, you have illegal ballots. I love people that love to say maladministration. Yes, you had tons of maladministration, but you had real election fraud. At so many different levels, misconduct and patterns and doctoring of documentation, altering, destroying, missing tapes, tapes that have holes in them where key information's missing, public relation or public records requests that still haven't been filled, and some that were actually held up until I threatened to sue them before they would send them. So, I mean, the list of adjectives to describe the amounts of things that we have, and it's all documented.